All right, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, this week we're actually, well, wait, let me take a step back. So, I'm still working on your grades for your exam. So, be looking out for that. Some of you have already seen your grades posted, others probably not. My hope is to have them done by Tuesday. So, be looking out for your grade. And if you have any questions, make sure you let me know. Also, if you have any missing assignments, you can still turn those in. So, yeah. All right. This week, we're actually going to be working with, we're going to be learning about mixing. And so you may wonder, okay, what is mixing in music? You know what mix means, like if you're mixing water and sugar and lemon to make lemonade or something like that. But mixing in music is a little bit different, but it's actually kind of a similar concept. And it makes a huge difference with your music. So let's jump right into it. So basically in music, when we're talking about mixing, what we're really talking about is setting the levels of each track in terms of volume, right? So we're adjusting the volume, but then we're also adjusting the actual equalization or EQ. And you may not know what that word is yet, but I'm going to show you visually what EQ is. And so most people will say, let's just use the analogy of cooking, right? So I just gave you the analogy of like making lemonade, but the idea of mixing is that everything has its place, right? So if you have like a full, like if you have a meal that you're getting ready to eat for dinner, let's say it's, steak, potatoes, green beans, and I don't know what's another. I don't know. But let's just say you have like a full meal. So steak, potatoes, green beans, and then for dessert, you have like cheesecake or something like that. Okay. So the idea is that each one of those items serves a purpose, right? And it's a wide variety in terms of like your palate when you eat it, when you taste it, it's going to be a different experience for each thing. And so mixing is like the same way. Also, when you're preparing your meal, it's the idea of like you're going to add salt to some things, you're going to add sugar to other things, you're going to add, maybe onion powder, maybe you're going to add lemon pepper seasoning if you're fancy, right? Like there's different types of seasonings that you might add to your food. And music is the same way when you're mixing. So you're going to add different types of EQ. You're going to add different types of effects. You're going to add different types of quote unquote seasoning to make your song sound the way you want it to sound. And so in the music world, when we're listening to music, the salt and pepper of mixing is usually going to be EQ, which I just mentioned, and compression. We're not really going to deal with compression right now. Right now, we're just going to be focusing on EQ, and I'm going to show you how much of a difference it makes. So I have a song I made back in the day, and I just named it Summer Back Please, because for some reason I'm missing the summer, probably because it's starting to get a little bit colder. But yeah, Summer Back Please. So here's the loop. Let's just take a listen to it. All right. So as you can tell, all the different instruments and tracks, they sound okay, but everything is too loud, right? Like everything is, you can't distinguish one thing from the other. And so I'm going to show you how you can actually add some seasoning to make it sound a little bit more clear. And the word that I would use right now is that this mix, it sounds a little bit muddy, right? So everything's just kind of jumbled together. So in order to add effects in Soundtrap, the way you do that is you click on your track. So I'll start with the synth, and then you click this effects button over here. And so when you click the effects button, you're going to type in EQ, and you're going to look for the visual EQ. Okay, so you're going to click on visual EQ, and that will actually pop right up. All right, so we're going to open up the visual EQ, and then we're going to solo this synth track and see what we hear. Oh, let's make sure it's working okay. There we go. So as we can see, if you look at the top, it tells you what the frequencies are that are present. So we have 0 all the way right here, 20, 50, 100, and so on, all the way up to 20K. So you can see the majority of the frequencies are around in between 200 and 500K. So that means all this stuff right here to the left, most of it, we really don't need. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this and we're going to run a filter through it. And if I sweep it, it's going to take out everything. But we don't want to take out everything. We want to keep the important information. So probably about right there. So that clears up some space for some other instruments, right? And if we wanted to, maybe we could take out some frequencies right here, but that makes it sound a little bit dull. So I'm going to leave that alone right now. Okay, so we're good with that one. Now we're going to go to our next track, which is kids playing. And then we're going to add another visual EQ. And as you can see, we don't need all this information, all these low frequencies, right? That's like the rumble. We don't need that either. So if we sweep that through, again, we don't want to sweep it too much because then it sounds like they're on a telephone. But maybe about right there. Okay, so about right there, I would say. Maybe about in between 200 and 500 hertz. You go ahead and listen on your computer and you see what sounds, or listen through your headphones and you see what sounds good. So mine's around 370. Yeah, there's a little bit of room for interpretation there. So moving on to the next track, we'll go to Synth 3. So this one, this is the one that I feel like can make the mix really, really muddy. And we don't want to do that. Right, there's a whole lot of stuff going on over here, so some of these frequencies, see, that's a very harsh frequency, so maybe around 500. I'll turn it down just a little bit, and I'm wondering if yep, and I'll turn it down around 10K. And 20K as well. And so that doesn't make it sound as harsh, right? All right, so that's what I want to do with that one. Moving on. So we have this cymbal swell. So let's see what this sounds like. I don't think I want to do anything to that cymbal swell. I think it's totally fine. And if I do want to do something to it, it might be a delay. So over here where you see EQ, just type in the word delay. I'm going to throw this one in here. This will be a wild card. Yeah, I think we'll just add a delay for that. Let's see, what that sounds like. I think I like that. Maybe speed it up just a little bit. Oh, that slowed it down. Cool. I think that's all I want to do with that. So if you want to add a delay, go ahead and do that. Moving on to the next track. So this bass has kind of like a singing quality to it. All right. It's not very punchy, but it is very, it has like a singing kind of legato feel to it. So we're going to go back to our EQ. So type in EQ. Open it up, see what frequencies are available. By the way, I have an EQ chart that I'll let you see. And you can see, I'll have it posted in eClass. But if you look up bass starts around probably 30 hertz. And the fundamental frequencies are from around 30 hertz to around 300 hertz. And then in this red section, that's kind of like the harmonic. So really what we want to focus on is that 30 to 300. So let's go back here. You see, if we sweep it too much, it loses the qualities of a bass. It almost sounds like just a regular synth. So we don't want to do that. So I would probably put it right here. Let's just put it close to 30. Yeah, 29.6 sounds fine. And if we want, we can just run another filter from the other side just to make sure we're cleaning this side up. And what this does is this opens up space for other instruments. Okay. All right, moving on to synth number 2. So this one has a lot of mid-range. So again, we don't need all the bass because we already have bass covered. And we don't want too much of that. Of this because it starts to sound really harsh sounding. So if you turn it all the way up, you can see what frequencies are really harsh. So say maybe pull it down about right there. We might give it some air right here. Let's see what happens. Ooh, I kind of like that. See if we can get it with band number 4. I kind of like pulling it up just a little bit around 5K. Kind of gives it just a little bit of air, lets it breathe just a little bit. All right. And so that's the basics of EQ. So let's see what we have so far. So once we EQ everything, let's see what it sounds like now. So it's starting to sound a little bit cleaner, but here's the thing. We still haven't adjusted the volumes, right? So now we have to see, okay, clearly we don't want the kids singing or the kids playing. We don't want that too loud. So I would immediately turn that down. Bass is kind of loud. Pull that down just a little bit. Okay. That cymbal swell is kind of loud too, so I'm going to pull that down. You're mixing, you want to think about, okay, what do I want it to sound like? Okay. And to me, this kind of has like a lo-fi vibe to it. So I don't want it to sound super, super bright. So I might pull down these kids playing. Because I want the kids just to be in the background. I don't want them to be in the forefront. I don't want it like that, right? And so this is what I want you to do. So I want you to try to mix it the way I did using the EQ, and then adjust the volumes as well, and then see what you come up with. And then lastly, the last thing that you'll do is you're going to add your own drums. Okay. So, and I want everybody's drums. You can use different drum kits, but I want your drums to sound pretty similar to what I'm playing right now. We're going to do quarter notes, eighth notes, and half notes. Okay. So the kick is going to be the quarter note. So it's going to be the steady beat. So it'll sound like this when we record it. And I'll go ahead and solo it. So kick is going to sound like this. And I'll stop it right there because remember, we can always loop. So I'll do that. Your snare is going to be on 2 and 4. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or it can be a clap too. So that'll be 2 and 4. So here we go. Stop it right there. And then lastly, your hi-hats are going to be eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so you can just keep it like that. If you want to add a different sound in every once in a while, as long as it's an eighth note, that's fine. So here we go. So we got that. And then remember, you can always quantize. You can see that mine wasn't perfect. So I want to quantize mine to, what did I just do? Edit, quantize. Yeah, 1/16. So that should snap everything. And then once I loop it, I can just add it. And then with everything else, here's what it sounds like. Let's see how it fits in the mix. That cymbal swell with the delay. And once you've done that, you'll be done for the day. And I can't wait to listen to it. And like always, have fun. And I'll be around to answer any questions if you have them. Yep. Have fun. See you later.